My name is Mark Martin, driver of the number 6 AAA Fusion. This is the last time around in the 6. It's 19 years of the best years of my life. There's a lot of life in front of me, and there's a lot of things to be excited about and to look forward to. It doesn't get any better than that. Monday morning, it was a workout day and a day to catch up. Tuesday morning, spent some time with Matt. Wednesday was my day off, hanging around the office. Thursday, Ford Fan Day, Fort Lauderdale. Friday, we had the truck race. Saturday was our final cup practice. Sunday's race day, our regular routine.
Mark Martin is NASCAR. His success, longevity, and demeanor personify the passion that drives the sport.
I'm 100% laser focus. It's all or nothing with me. I always devise my strategy based on all the things that are out there in front of me, and you decide what's going to give you the best result in the situation. I look forward to 2006 season being over because, I won't gear back up for that same thing with the next chapter of my life.
As Mark Martin makes his swan song for Roush Racing, the 2006 season ends its 36-week tour. A tour that forces those who make their life out of the NASCAR industry to live their weekends on Monday. At work, the rigor of their routine makes the pleasure of their pastime all the more worthwhile. Through activities as varied as their personalities, it is the welcome return to normalcy that liberates the racing troupe and grants them a reprieve.
Damn it! How the hell did I miss that? Damn you, fish!
I have a racetrack, don't even know it. Ho!
Soon enough, the pace will pick up. The action amplifies. The expectations escalate. But for a few more moments, the freedom of time allows for freedom of mind. While recreation is for relaxation, there is little letdown for someone with the drive of Mark Martin.
My commitment to physical fitness has never wavered for 19 years. I never miss a workout for anything. Same old misery. It's a part of my life. It's something that I started out trying to gain an advantage on the competition and did. And then eventually the competition followed suit. And so for me now, it's just a commitment to quality of life. Got a message for Carl. Get you some of those at 47, Carl. There are lots of possible benefits when you're racing for points and championships.
Even a day off is as intense as 400 miles behind the wheel. Now facing the home stretch, Mark strives to keep success within his grasp.
Rob.
Soda can, ready?
36 weeks working on the road removes the NASCAR community from their families. Before taking to the track, where their salary is earned, they are reminded of what truly provides the reward.
Steer a little left, steer left. There you go. See how it's going left now?
Just all go deep?
Let's all do whatever we want to do.
That's an excellent play.
Yeah.
It's much like Coach's place.
So we're gonna go on date night. Where's somewhere nice?
Where are you taking me?
To the movies.
What are we gonna see?
We're gonna go early because if we go to a matinee, it's cheaper.
How long is this gonna take? Come here.
The moments away from the racetrack are rare for the NASCAR traveler, but fewer moments become moments more cherished. A day at home is never taken for granted. As Matt Martin grows older, a career in racing becomes more evident. But his father, Mark, is enjoying each day as it comes.
Get over that one. He said,
So what time will you be over Saturday?
The track? Oh, OP, Orlando Paintball.
They open at noon, so.
Yeah, that place stays open a long time. They like close at 5, and they say closed from 5 to like 7, and they reopen at 8, and it's open to like midnight or something. Yeah. But
Matt hasn't raced in a couple months. He was spectacular last time he raced in the super late model division out at New Smyrna. He's run that super late model 3 times, and he's gotten faster every time, and the last time he did fantastic. Ready to fill these tanks?
sure.
Right now, with the weather cooling off, paintballing is his main focus, and he's excited about getting back to that.
Thanks, Dad.
The proud father's kept busy by Matt's hectic schedule. But as a chase contender for 3 years running, Mark's calendar is even more intense.
Wednesday is my busiest day of the week. I'm out of the office Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when I come in, it's crazy. We're getting things sorted out, taking care of the things that have come up, mapping out a strategy for the rest of the week of how we're going to manage our time.
And then you're still departing at 1 o'clock the Tuesday after Homestead, right? Is that still on the schedule?
I don't have any idea, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. I think that's what your wife told me.
I have no idea.
All right.
Roughly planning on coming home on Sunday,
Okay.
the 26th.
Yeah, okay.
And what in the world are we doing at Tiffany's?
Media reception that the top 10 drivers are invited.
Benny's role is a one-man army. He does everything. All my personal business, from endorsements and managing the coordination of the PR stuff and the appearances.
Layoff.
Mark's 2007 slate features only 22 cup races. Sliding over to MB2 Motorsports, he can run fewer events and on his own terms.
Oh, mamma mia. Oh, no, so.
36 weeks on the road means packing bags for a weekly commute. Navigating a NASCAR map that frequents 22 cities spanning 19 states. For those treading between home and office, maximizing free time makes the travel plans more intense. When coupled with the logistics of race parts and race cars, the commute becomes a caravan. As Mark Martin begins his time on the road, he takes a detour to the track by way of a Miami area school. Even away from the garage, Mark is hard at work, this time for his sponsor.
AAA Ford Fusion driver Mark Martin.
The main focus that AAA has had me on this year is team driving safety. It's been the most important work that I've done in my racing career, and I'm really proud of it. I've always looked at driving as being one of the ultimate privileges. It's something that doesn't need to be taken for granted. You know, if you can take something away from this today and keep it in your mind, maybe you'll have a safer driving experience. And this is something that...
Looking into the group of students, Mark sees kids as old as his son, Matt, making him all the more willing to lend a hand.
Successful. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to accelerate down this lane in these cars, and there's 2 lights on down at the end, okay? And one of the lights is going to go off, and that's the way you go.
The goal in that test was to give them an exercise that would show them you're supposed to find a way to avoid the problem. Otherwise, you wind up right in the accident. I'm going to get in the back or front?
You want to get in the back?
All right.
You want in the front?
No, I'll ride right here. I don't mind. I kind of like somebody's chauffeur. I do enough of the driving.
Seatbelt on.
Well, I'm glad they weren't getting a grade on, because some of them didn't do as well as they might have. But it was a much more challenging exercise than I expected.
Spending the day with one sponsor, the evening is given to another. Mark sat in a Ford 20 of his 24 years in the sport, and always as a fan favorite.
Ford Fan Fest is something that Ford does a half a dozen times a year, and it's basically just all about the fans. They bring all the Ford drivers in and do autographs and question and answer sessions and meet and greets. How you doing? All right.
Daddy said to yell at you for driving a shit.
Yeah. You had to bring it up, didn't you?
He's still gonna follow you, but he's
Hey, tell him I'm going to race a Ford truck next year. Like I've told everyone, the majority of my success in NASCAR has come behind the wheel of Fords, and nothing will ever change that. You know, we've had each other's back for 19 years. We have great respect for one another, and none of that is going to change. And I wouldn't even, if I were you, I wouldn't even say the last time. You know, if I were you, I just wouldn't say that. You know, I'm not that old.
36 weeks on the road, where a new city springs up with each loading. A weekend metropolis. The garage population endures long hours and rigorous labor. But the payoff is there, in the passion for their sport and the fellowship with neighbors.
Let me get your meatloaf sandwich, please.
Is it true that that's how NASCAR began, really, or is that like a apocryphal story that it began with like moonshine?
It's time to go race. It's about 5 minutes. What do you mean? You said last weekend I could get up and wipe the sleepies out of my eyes and get straight in the car. And that's what you do every weekend.
For the hundreds that settle in this migrant city from Thursday through Sunday, it is a community with the same conveniences that allow them to turn their place of work into a temporary piece of home. For Mark Martin, there is nowhere more like home than sitting behind a wheel. Even when setting aside a night for truck racing, Mark is looking to go out with a bang and a visit to Victory Lane.
Over there a little bit. What's up, man? Nice fun. Thank you.
Truck racing, the final race of the season.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Oh, yeah, let's go racing, boys.
Mark Martin is starting to look real racy to me. He's starting to run the bottom, and he's starting to clip them off just a little bit at a time.
Good job, good job. One at a time here, doing good.
This is for the lead.
Mark Martin is using all 30 years' experience to try to figure out a way to get by that 77 of Brendan Gaughan.
The truck was spectacular. You know, we did what we had to do.
Mark Martin closing out a very successful season in the Truck Series.
This is the way to finish it off here.
He will win the Ford 200.
I am going to miss driving for y'all.
For us to win together was a spectacular effort.
19 years, I had to learn something.
I was afraid we got it too tight.
No, I just trying not to bring it up.
Come into this series the way that you did, the way that you got selected to.
We will all remember 2006 as being one cool experience.
The season reaches its final event. A champion will be crowned. But while making the chase for the Nextel Cup, the AAA team lacked the jump-start it needed to win it all.
My expectations are to have a good car this weekend, but I don't feel like that our cars are, in general, capable of doing some of the things that they did last year.
That's the same story, Pat. Pretty good through 1 and 2. Exactly neutral, 2/3 all the way the rest of the way, so pretty good job. 61, Kurt was a 76, the 24 was a 69.
Taking lap times out of the equation, I've also done this stuff long enough to know what the car needs to feel like on Saturday to be good for 400 miles on Sunday. But through the practice, we had a really productive session.
Mark is a self-described realist. A lifetime of racing has dealt him both good and bad, and he's made a living out of rising to the occasion.
What's my...
In 1988, Mark Martin joined Roush Racing. 228,000 miles later, the 6 is among the NASCAR elite, with accolades marking every mile.
You know, my plans were not to tackle this full schedule again in '06, but I did it for Jack and for Roush Racing. There's something to be said about doing things that you only hoped or dreamed of. Jack and I went through that experience together.
And Mark Martin will win his first Winston Cup event. Mark Martin comes down and wins the Winston 500. Mark Martin wins the Nextel All-Star Challenge.
Those are the best memories of all. I've had the time of my life, but it's been incredibly demanding, and I knew it would be. I have burned my candle on both ends as bright as I could burn it since I was 15 years old. It's too soon to retire, but it's not too soon to slow down.
2 decades with Roush culminate on a Sunday in Miami. The final race has waited for Mark all year.
What's my fondest memory? I'm old and my brain is like rubber. I forgot everything that we did just about. My most memorable was sitting in Jack Roush's little office talking about driving his car, and at the end of the conversation standing up and shaking hands. That meant I had a ride in NASCAR. That's what I remember.
Thank you very much, Mark, today for coming. And can we wish him good luck? Thank you.
Gonna get him today? Yes, sir. Okay. Get some green flag racing.
I hope you got as good a car as you think you do. Get it on off pit road. Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
As far as my feelings, it's been very non-emotional. I'm not quitting racing. I'm far from that. It might be different if I was never going to drive again. You know, I'd probably be making an appointment at the Nut House. If it got cut short, let's say 10 years ago, then that would be incredibly sad.
Mark, I want to thank you for everything for the last 3 years, and let's see if we can go out in style, go get ourselves a win here, bud. Thank you. Yeah, let's get him in.
Beginning of the end, so to speak. Final race of the season comes down the line. Green flag goes in the air, and the Ford 400 is underway.
The first third of the race was really hard work for me behind the wheel.
Okay, when she grips up, I'm going to want to turn better right now. It's just hard out here, not nothing. Why don't we try the normal air and take a roundhouse? Okay, but I don't know. It might loosen it up a lot. The running's so bad we need to give up. We can just try loosening it up first. We'll go a round and a half or 2 rounds. Somewhere between 2 and 4 rounds. It's bad.
I could still keep good speed. I wasn't making up a lot of ground, but I was holding my own very well.
Roush's senior driver finishes 18th. The torch is passed in fitting fashion to teammate Greg Biffle, who takes over the stable with momentum for his new crew chief, Pat Tryson.
Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Jimmy Johnson will win the title, but Greg Biffle will win the Ford 400.
I love you guys, Pat. You've been awesome. And all you guys. Give me your heart and your soul.
We've been on a roll ever since Pat got there, you know, battling back down to the very last lap. I think Pat Tryson and Greg Biffle will be king in 2007.
The NASCAR Legion spends 70% of their year at the track, but on race day, they give 100% commitment.
Love you.
Love you too.
Drivers, start your engines.
Ready? I'm up there. And green flag, green flag.
The hard-fought racing life requires 100% commitment. And those involved do so for fans, for team, for family, for the glory of the sport, through the good and the bad.
Wait, keep your eye on your fuel pressure. They're looking for debris in turns 1 and 2. And we need a caution.
Holding Stewart. Stewart locks up the car, going to the inside of Boar Sand. Drive Sand way out wide.
What's the deal? I just ran me. That stupid fat.
Oh, lots of smoke from the Greg Biffle machine.
That's broke, Doug. This is broke.
Nice job, buddy. Attaway, buddy. Attaway.
Jeff Burton, the winner.
Good job, Jeff. You deserve it, buddy.
Season starts with fireworks. Denny Hamlin wins the Budweiser Shootout.
That was a race right there.
Whether in triumph or tears, the NASCAR family closes another day at the track. Emotions encapsulate the toll this life can take, but it is a sign of life lived to the fullest. The checkered flag is the culmination of the week-long effort, but it is only the signal to start the journey again. A winner is showered, history written, memories made. And at last, another 36 weeks on the road have come to an end. Jimmy Johnson captures the 2006 Nextel Cup trophy, but a champion is only forged by the competition he faces. And Mark Martin is one of the best.
This has been the most demanding year of my career and of my life. Start talking about all the struggles and all the things that or the challenges and all the things that we overcame. We'll never see times like that again. And as far as I'm concerned, I'll always be number 6.